Oh, hey, you alive? Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. Basically, where we talk about how great the New York Football Giants are and how badly the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys blow. Man, I never get sick and tired of saying that. As always, if you can like this video, maybe share it if you're watching on YouTube. Get down below on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. Also, in the description box below, I'll make sure I put it in there. The very top link in there to be to my membership page. If you want to help support my membership. Support my channel, it would mean so much to me. I got 3 different membership levels at YouTube. First one's called the Saquon, the second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level that's called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. Also, I'll have a little ways down in the description box as well too. There's 2 additional links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. We have over 9,000 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in that group darn near 365. Yeah. And for the G-Man. What's going on, buddy? What's up, brother? Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And then the link below it, it's a link to my Twitter account. I'll make sure I put that in there too. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. Basically, if you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. All right, well, they had the Giants and the Jets had their joint practice. Well, it wasn't all there was some good. There was certainly some good with the Giants. A lot of just what I'm hearing, there was a lot of the Giants didn't necessarily really go deep a lot. Now, obviously, I'm sure Dable has something up his sleeve. They're also facing the Jets on Saturday night as well, too. So, exactly what they got up their sleeve, as far as, what they're going to do, but I'm sure everything was kind of very vanilla. But so there was a lot in the running game, a lot of short passes. Wasn't a ton of stuff down deep. One of the things what we'll go over was Malik Neighbors dropped the pass. He's still kind of upset about that one. We hope he's MVP. Well, apparently Rodgers looked pretty good. I mean, he was. One of the things was that he was kind of torching the Giants secondary. The Giants secondary was not looking, just from the stuff you see, they got burnt quite a bit. They I guess their nickname was kind of like Toast. Well, of course, then it was Aaron Rodgers. He was looking good. He was really, really looking good. So it is what it is. Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see. But a lot of stuff's kind of very vanilla now. Also, I'm sure in the preseason game on Saturday, I don't even know if not sure if Daniel Jones is going to start. If how many guys in the offense are going to start? If you don't start the starting offensive lineman, can't see him really starting Daniel Jones. Right? Be interesting to see if maybe Malik Neighbors get some snaps in there. That'd be interesting to see. But so it wasn't all doom and gloom. When they kind of go at their one-on-ones, the defensive line, they had the drills, the defensive linemen going up against the offensive linemen. The Giants, the defensive linemen did pretty good. I mean, it's a tough drill for the offensive linemen to really be very successful with, shall we say. But Brian Burns was looking really, really good. The Giants' offensive line didn't do too bad. Actually, it was even an Evan Neal sighting. I think he practiced yesterday as well, too. So Evan Neal's on the field. Be interesting to see what they have in store for him. Right? I have a hard time seeing him bumping the Luminor out of there. So, I mean, what's Neal going to be? Going to put him in a guard? Is he going to be a backup? It's going to be interesting to see. But I'm sure he'll be getting some snaps, without question, on Saturday when the Giants take on the Jets. But let's see. Now, this is my new confounded. Let's see here. Hold on there. Whoops. Okay, hold on. If I don't screw this up here. Let's see there. Okay, here we go. All right. So, all right, here we go. So I get a little Aaron Rodgers action here. Just hanging out with Brian Burns. So for the second time in 3 years, Dable and Saleh gathered their respective, and apparently there weren't any fights. All right. Gathered their respective teams for a joint practice leading into the annual preseason finale between the two teams. This time, the latter hosted, so the Jets. It was the Jets that hosted. Giants players and staff boarded buses Wednesday morning and took the 30-mile ride from the Quest Diagnostic Training Center to Florham Park for a 2-hour practice. Got a lot of respect for Coach Saleh and how he does things. Dable said before practice, it's good competition. We're obviously in the AFC, but we're in the same state. So it's always important when you're practicing against a team that you're right next to one another. They've got a lot of good players. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of it's can they keep the Jets? Can they keep Rodgers upright? Can they keep him healthy? If they can keep him healthy, they got themselves a heck of a chance. Heck of a chance. Yeah. Because let's say, I mean, you gotta forget about the Patriots. I mean, that would be a heck of a, I think, a 3-team race. I mean, you got between the Bills, you got the Dolphins, and you got the Jets. If the Jets can keep Aaron Rodgers healthy and upright, that's going to be a heck of a 3-team battle. Daniel Jones found the end zone twice during the team drills in the red zone, starting with a short touchdown pass to Chris Manhertz shortly after Jones added another score with his legs. For the most part, I thought we executed well, Jones said when asked to assess his day. Thought throughout the team drills, we moved the ball and executed. Obviously, you want to finish a little better with the 2-minute there at the end. Overall, thought we executed well against a good defense. Next up was Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, who threw a touchdown to tight end Daniel Bellinger. DeVito has directed the second-team offense on 11-11 drills as Drew Lock recovers from his oblique injury. Giants defense had 2 close calls, one that would have gone to review, and the other call back for a defensive holding penalty. Quarterback Nick McLeod stripped the ball from a Jets receiver on a bang-bang play. The referees would have reviewed whether or not it would have been a completion. Linebacker Bobby Okereke intercepted a tip pass during the final 2-minute drill to end the practice, unfortunately. I think there was a holding penalty on Andrew Phillips. So we got Giants and Jets opened 7-7 drills where wide receivers Miles Boykin made a nice back shoulder catch on a pass from DeVito. Isaiah Hodgins also had a nifty one-handed grab. Irasante was bound for the red zone on a kickoff return had they played out the entire live rep. Okay. Burns was disruptive in the red zone, blowing up a toss play and later notching a sack. Fellow outside linebacker Boogie Basham, a defensive lineman, Elijah Chapman also had sacks. Tyler Nubin saved a touchdown and forced an incompletion in the red zone. Wando Robinson broke a nice catch and run on a pass from Jones. Ooh. Rookie Tyrone Tracy Jr. has made a quick recovery from an injury to scare to his ankle. No longer appearing on the injury report, he made a circus play today and caught a pass with his legs as he hit the ground. Dane Belton broke up a pass and nearly had a pick running the other way. Theo Johnson made a good sideline catch early in team drills. Much like all the rookies, I would say they're continuing to learn how we do things, Dable said of Johnson prior to practice. Well, apparently also, what was it? I think it might say it here somewhere along the lines, but Theo had a couple steps on. I thought it said. I think I'll read it somewhere. It had a couple steps. Thought it said on Sauce on the side Gardner, but the ball hit him and he dropped the pass. So that was there was a couple drop passes in here that kind of deflated the Giants' offensive a little bit. So let's see. Much like all the rookies, I would say they're continuing to learn how we do things. Dable said of Johnson prior to practice, they're playing faster. When you know what to do, you're allowed to do that. Plus, he's big, he's fast, and he hasn't made a lot of mental errors as a rookie. We lined him up in multiple spots. He's been productive with the opportunities that he's had. So he's done well. All right. Let's see. Oh, I got to keep oh, there we go. Bam. So we got Aaron. Next up, we got Aaron Rodgers here. Takes it to the Giants in joint practice. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense certainly don't look as if they need a final preseason tune-up to be ready for the first game of the regular season. So you can probably forget about Rodgers playing in the preseason finale. Rodgers positively picked apart the Giants' first-string defense in a one-sided joint practice Wednesday in Florham Park. The 40-year-old quarterback threw 4 touchdown passes, including 2 long ones to Garrett Wilson in 11-on-11 drills to delight of the fans in attendance at the team's practice facility. Let's see. That is my favorite part of the day when we go up against other teams, to be ready for that 2-minute period and to be able to see the offense do their thing. Pro Bowl cornerback Sauce Gardner said after practice. It's like, when Garrett's getting the ball, obviously I go up against him all the time. So it's like you're watching the other colored jersey at the other side, and you're like, Garrett's getting the ball. The way they were operating a 2-minute drill, it looked crazy. I don't want to look ahead of myself. I know they're probably going to have big heads walking into the facility tomorrow, but it was crazy. Gardner went up against rookie Malik Neighbors during the session, and he waved goodbye to the Giants sideline after the route was completed. Well, I wouldn't say so much of a route, but the Jets definitely had the upper hand. Gardner also called Rodgers the 4-time MVP, returning after suffering the Achilles injury. The best quarterback I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that just because he's on my team. I mean, he was just, if we look here, right? I mean, yeah, bam, poof. Yeah, just quick, just sees it, quick release. It's like, it's one of those. If you got it, you got it. If you do, you do. You don't, you don't. He's got it. Daniel Jones doesn't have that. Rodgers completed short touchdowns to Hall and Lazard, in addition to 2 deep scores to Wilson. One went for roughly only 70 yards. That's all. After a breakdown by the Giants secondary early in the scrimmage, and the other was only a 55-yard connection off Rodgers' back foot against the Giants cornerback Nick McLeod. Backup Tyrod Taylor also threw a deep touchdown pass to Jason Brownlee. It's a test to go against Rodgers every day, said veteran safety Chuck Clark, who missed all of last season with a torn ACL. You got to be on your best, even on days when you don't feel like it or you're sore. You got to work. You're going to get challenged. You're going to get exposed if you don't. It's definitely a test every day coming out and competing against Aaron. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? You know, the guy's been doing it for so long. It's just, you know, it's just amazing. You know, when you see, you know, somebody like, you know, with his skill set. Yeah, a cornerback, I'll tell you, kind of makes you wonder because they freed up a little bit of money, right? They freed up about $3 million or so when they did Andrew Thomas's contract. Now you're kind of wondering, right? Did they free up like an extra $3 million this season just for some, you know, to make it through the season? Or did they free it up, you know, to maybe possibly make a move, right? I mean, I've seen all different things. I did what the heck is today? Today's Wednesday, right? I did on Monday. I did my video was about with Andrew Thomas, and they restructured his contract. Just they say $3 million. They turned $4 million of it, 4 point something of it into a sign-in bonus. So he got some of it this year, and then they spread it out over a couple more years. So, you know, they saved like $3 million. Was the guy who wrote the article said they were going to have about $18 million in salary cap space. You go to over the cap. They have like about 13 million, and you got Spot Track where they have like about $10 million. And so I don't, it's rather confusing, especially for a moron like me. They got at least $10 million. Now, $10 million, that's about what you want to do to try to make it through the season. Now, the thing is that if you have like $15-20 million and you don't spend it, it goes over into the next season. So it's not like use it or lose it. You know, they'll have it for the following season. That just keeps rolling over. So that's great. It's just you kind of wondering why did they free up, you know, an extra $3 million or so. They're trying to make a move. I mean, you know, but I mean, you know, I mean, this is. I mean, one of the things also is that a lot of the Giants cornerbacks, safeties, right, that are on the field are young. And you're going to have some growing pains. It's a new defensive system, new defensive coordinator, obviously. The only thing, I mean, is, you know, they're just doing screwing up some things. It's not like they're getting, I mean, they are getting beat, obviously. But it's not like with Wink Martindale, they're sending 37 guys, so everybody's got a one-on-one, right? And the guys are getting burnt with the one-on-one. I mean, a lot of it, there's a lot more zone here. So you kind of think, is it, the guys, are they just totally getting burnt? Or is it the combo package where maybe they're getting burnt and they're just not quite up to speed with the new defense, right? I mean, is that a possibility? Because they're just young. I mean, that secondary is young. I mean, they brought in some veterans, right? But I mean, out of the veterans, I don't know how many of them are going to plan on being like starters. I don't know. So yeah, it could be just growing pains. But I mean, there were quite a few instances from what I heard, and you could see, and there might even be another one here. Might be another video where Aaron Rodgers winds up just torching the dudes. Yeah. Yeah. See, we got Banks. Flott, he's been injured. I mean, we got Holmes. We got Nick McLeod, Andrew Phillips. But is Phillips going to be the inside? Is he going to be the inside guy? Is he going to be the nickel? That's what I'm saying. Is what you're saying. Who's going to be? Who's the guy outside? That's a major concern. Be interesting to see if the Giants do bring somebody in. They do bring somebody in. Is it just for this? They bring a veteran in for the season? That might be a good concern for like maybe the draft next season, right? Because if you're looking for a cornerback number 2, you don't have to get somebody like that in the first round. You can maybe get somebody like that in the second round, but that's something that have to certainly have to see as we go along. Let me see here if I can share this notebook. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, we got more. What you need to know from the Giants-Jets joint practice. Apparently, Robert Saleh is a pretty tall dude. He's about 6 inches taller than Dable. NFL coaches and players routinely tout the benefits of facing unfamiliar opponents in joint practices, but perhaps the most insignificant takeaways from the Giants and the 2-hour workout with the Jets was the importance of eliminating mistakes. Several miscues dotted the productive 2-hour session at the Jets facility here, and though it was a midweek workout and not a regular season or even preseason game, they still rankled the visitors from Bergen County. Offensively, the Giants dropped too many passes. Defensively, the secondary gave up several long completions, most notably a perfectly thrown touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson. But it was mistakes in the 2-minute drills at the end of the practice that most bothered the Giants and could have been crippling had they occurred during the game. Giants defense appeared to have the Jets' number 1 offense stop when Brian Burns tipped and then linebacker Bobby Okereke intercepted the Rodgers pass. But the play was nullified when Drew Phillips was flagged for holding. Rodgers took advantage of the second chance and threw a touchdown pass. Yeah, I mean, it's like you can't give that guy a second chance. Whew. Jets second team quarterback, of course, Tyrod Taylor. He was jacked up. You knew that to play the Giants. Got his group into the end zone on a deep throw to Jason Brownlee. That prompted both Taylor and star cornerback Sauce Gardner to wave goodbye to and yell at the Giants sideline. Oh, so Taylor was in there too, huh? Well, and then afterwards they asked Malik Neighbors, and he's like, "Well, man, they can do that. They won on the day. The defense came out here and executed well. We beat ourselves today. So it's really about going back into our playbook, going back into trying to be us, trying to find this team that we're trying to look for. It's going to be back. It's going back to the preparation." Giants almost had a touchdown in a row, but Neighbors dropped the Daniel Jones pass up the left side. Neighbors said it bothered me pretty bad. If I had to do it again, I would work on something different on catching the ball. Giants' first-round draft choice caught a few passes, but it was the ones he didn't secure that stuck with him after practice. Well, that's usually the way it is. I mean, it's not the touchdowns, it's the drops. He said, I had too many drops, Neighbors said. I had a lot of catches, and they could have been made on the field. So that was about me. It was a great competition day, a great work day. I think if we finish that 2-minute with a touchdown, we definitely feel different. That was it. Yeah, it was Daniel Jones. We all got to make plays. Stuff like that's going to happen. We had a chance to come back and still convert, so we got to do that. But yeah, certainly feels different if we convert that 2-minute situation. For the most part, I thought we executed well. Jones said. Thought throughout the team drills, we moved the ball and executed. Obviously, you want to finish a little bit better with the 2-minute there and at the end. Overall, I thought we executed well against a good defense. Giants will play the final preseason game against the Jets. Jones might not play, but with 2+ weeks of practice before the September 8th regular season opener versus Minnesota, plenty of time remains for the Giants to approach what they believe is their capability. Yeah. All right. Bam. Well, then we had good old Brandon. What do we got here? 2 goofballs. Yeah. Yeah, I still got some. I still got. I'm still playing around and stuff like that and all. So hopefully I haven't screwed stuff up too badly. But yeah, well, I mean, hey, thanks to you. That's if it wasn't for your suggestion, I wouldn't be on StreamYard. So I'm playing around. It's a lot of fun. So yeah. Keep my thumbs up here, right? So, but I said there's a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts here. So, but it's definitely a lot more entertaining, and it's a lot more. You got a lot more stuff you can do than just the YouTube, just going live on YouTube. So I got to check it out. I mean, it's supposed to be streaming on. Let me see. Let's see, manage videos. Should be live here. Am I going live? Yeah, I'm live. Yep. Cool. Yeah. So that's cool. So far so good. But I said there's a lot more stuff I got to learn and all that stuff and everything. But thanks for the suggestion. All right. Let's see. Then Brandon Brown. I think it was yesterday. I think he was speaking here. Hold on, let me do this here again. Here, I want to screw this up. There we go. Brandon Brown. Here we go. Giants will be aggressive on the waiver wire. This is what you were talking about, goofball. Right? You were talking about this the other night. When the Giants are, when they do that. What is it? I think it's the Tuesday, after the final preseason games. I think that's when everybody goes from 90 down to 53. It's like what you were saying the other night. Said they're going to be pretty active. But the nice thing is unlike whatever it was after the 2022 season, right? Last season they were kind of low on the pecking order, but this year they'll be like their number 6. So if there's somebody they see that they want to dabble with, they got a real good chance of getting them. So that's another one of the benefits of having a crappy record. So I'm sure they're going to be rather active, what you were saying, and be interested to see how many guys in the secondary they decide to dabble in. But old Brandon Brown said they're going to be aggressive. Oh, there we go. Yeah, all right. Giants have an imperfect roster. If you believe some national writers, they would say a terrible roster. With cut down coming next Tuesday, it is next Tuesday, okay. Roughly 1,200 players will be out of jobs around the NFL. Wow. Jeez. So is it 32 teams times 37 players? Wow. Holy cow. Because waiver wire priority at this time of year is set based on last season's record, the Giants are number 6 on the waiver wire list. Assistant Brandon Brown said on Tuesday that the Giants will look to capitalize on that. We're always looking to be aggressive, Brown said. Last year we were further down the claim order. But going back to our first year, we were able to, to take those swings, Fabian Moreau, Nick McLeod, and Jason Pinnock. So, I'll tell you what, if they get, that wasn't too bad of a haul for them. We're going to do the same things again. Maybe obviously at different position, but we want to make sure that there's an opportunity to bolster, especially the back end of the roster, depth and special teams contributors. We're not going to apologize for trying to do that. Giants appear to have a need at cornerback. They have a need at defensive tackle after trading Jordan Phillips and waiving Ryder Anderson. Rash of injuries at the inside linebacker. That's why Darius Muasau, he's been getting some reps. But it's not maybe necessarily because he's ready for first team reps. It's just that he might be like one of the last few guys standing. Just figuring out those. Where is a surplus in the market, Brown says. Where are teams that might have guys that are on the bubble or on the trade block? How thick does it look? Where would we be versus our competitors that may be ahead of us in the claim order or those who may be behind us? Not giving up on Evan Neal. There has been an Evan Neal sighting, right? Evan Neal has not come close during his first 2 NFL seasons to justify having been a number 7 overall pick. Injuries have been a big part of the issue. Perhaps coaching as well. Yeah, coaching could have something to do with it. Thank you, Bobby Johnson. I can't believe the Commanders picked him up. Wow. With Neal slowly working back from off-season ankle surgery, he does not appear to have a path to a starting job at the beginning of the season. Brown, though, said the Giants are not ready to write him off. I think when you look at the development of players, it's just not just offensive linemen in general. You always want to give at least a minimum of 3 years a book of business. I mean, we all lived how Andrew Thomas started, right? And everybody has their own path, whether it's coaching changes, whether it's coaching style, whether it's injuries or just a transition to the style of play. Brown said, I just think with Evan Neal, he's working to get healthy right now. And I appreciate his mindset right now. He wants to do whatever is best for the team, and I have faith in him. We're not losing any faith in Evan Neal right now. I think right now, him stringing together good days of practice, going to a joint practice tomorrow with the Jets, and then having the last preseason game, it's all going to be a really springboard for him to get back on the track that he wants to be on. And then he talked about Elijah Chapman. I mean, this guy was 5 foot, he's not even 6 foot tall. I mean, he's like a son of a lumberjack. He did all he's done his path is just crazy. When you go to SMU, you do the full discovery process of Elijah, where you figure out, okay, what makes him an outlier at his size, because you're not going to find many 5 foot 11-inch defensive tackles. Brown said, well, he was a captain. He was actually, for his size, he was a 1,600-yard rusher in high school as a running back or fullback. He had a pseudo called fullback package on offense at SMU. And Giants scouts, Scott Hamill and Justin Marcus, Blaze Bell, sending back notes on seeing him run down on punt coverage and kickoff coverage. And in his background, he's a decorated high school wrestler and powerlifter, and he's a son of a lumberjack. You put that all together, there are a lot of characteristics from an intangible standpoint. And then there are also the metrics. He had 31-inch vertical. He did a 4.840. 32 benches on the rep, 9 foot 4 inches broad jump. All those explosive metrics give him an opportunity for being an outlier. And even though he's 5 foot 11, has almost 33-inch arms. So there's a redeeming trait. I mean, can you imagine if he was 6'5", 6'6", he'd probably have like 72-inch arms. The coaches are motivated, especially defensive line coach Andre Patterson and Brian Cox. And that's why I affectionately called Dre Dr. Dre, because there's probably nobody that he thinks he can't fix. We love that mindset. It was a group effort from scouting, analytics, and coaching. And then here's with the cap space here. Giants created more than $3 million in cap space this week by restructuring the contract of star tackle Andrew Thomas. Brown said the Giants will be judicious in spending their money. When you talk about the cap space, it's just not for the cut down. But to me, it's also an in-season spending. You want to make sure you're covering your bases regardless of it's now or if you're taking about pre-trade deadline or anything that may happen in the first 4 to 6 weeks. You want to cover all your bases, Brown said, but we're going to do our due diligence. Anything you may come in about terms of opportunity of a position in need, a player that's going to be available for trade, and we might pursue. We're going to do our due diligence and figure out, does it make sense for us? So we'll have to wait and see if the Giants do any type of dabbling. Right? As I said, I saw it with Spot Track at about 10 million. I thought it was the cap. Over the cap had him like about 13 million. And some guy who wrote this article said the Giants have about 18 million in cap space. So I'm a lumberjack. I'm okay. Sleep all night and work. I heard him when he was talking about that. It's like, yeah, he was a power lifter. He was a wrestler. He was like a fullback, 1,600-yard rusher in high school. He come from a lumberjack. I mean, then you got all his metrics and everything like that. So, you're certainly pulling for somebody like that. I mean, the way he ran that guy down, I mean, it just kind of, I mean, I didn't see like the all 22 or nothing like that. But I mean, what Elijah was saying, he was like the last guy. I forgot the running back cut out, what is it, to the left? I forgot who the number was. The guy who made the great tackle for the Giants, who let him kind of walk on by it, right? Go down the sideline. So I mean, after him, there was nobody. So Elijah was like, "Yeah, I think I was like the last guy left." So, and I think he said maybe either in high school or college, he got up to about 20 miles an hour. So, but he said I was the last guy left. So I tried to make the tackle, and that he did. That was a great hustle play. Great hustle play. All right, what do we got here? Oh, good old look who's at least this time. A little bit of good news. The felony case was dropped against Lawrence Taylor after being targeted by his estranged wife. Sounds like she's a little pissed off at him. Yeah, you don't want to piss off a woman. Lawrence Taylor had a felony case dropped against him in Broward County, Florida, over claims that he failed to register himself as a sex offender during a visit last month. South Florida attorney Mark Eiglarsh, who was represented LT, revealed that the Hall of Famer had been targeted by his estranged wife amid a nasty divorce battle. His arrest in July marked the second time in the last 5 years that Taylor has found himself in trouble with the same thing. Taylor is a registered sex offender after being arrested for statutory rape in 2010 and later pleading guilty to a sexual misconduct involving an underage girl. Unfrickin' believable. He was arrested in 2021 in Florida for failing to register as a sex offender. Eiglarsh previously spoke to TMZ Sports, calling Taylor's latest arrest a misunderstanding. Taylor turned himself in to the authorities in Broward County, Florida, after a warrant was issued for his arrest due to failure to register as a sex offender. As with the previous incident involving the same allegations, Mr. Taylor did not knowingly commit any criminal offense. The situation is a significant misunderstanding. We're confident that once the prosecutors review the evidence demonstrating Mr. Taylor's innocence, he will once again achieve a favorable outcome. But unfortunately, it sounds like his wife or his ex-wife's a little pissed off at him, and that's not something you want to do. All right, and well, one of the Marcus Golden. All right. Ex-Giants pass rusher Marcus Golden retiring after 9 seasons. Veteran outside linebacker Marcus Golden announced his retirement on Wednesday after 9 seasons in the NFL. Golden, who played with the Giants for parts of 2 seasons, already had been put on the reserve retired list by the Steelers this month, but made his decision official in a post on Instagram. During his time with the Giants in 2019 and 2020, he appeared in 23 games, 17 starts, had 11.5 sacks. Now, so basically he had, what was it, 11? Oh, like half a sack a game. But in 2019, right, that was Shermer. And then come in 2020, you got Judge. So sometimes, money thing could possibly be a money thing. Could have been a coaching thing. Sometimes you bring in a new regime and they're not over the moon with this guy. Yeah, if he's not one of their guys, they want to let him go, whatever. But I mean, how many years the Giants been looking for an edge rusher, some help, and I'm not saying he was JPP. I'm not saying it was Lawrence Taylor, but 23 games, he had 11.5 sacks. You do the math, that's half a sack a game. Now over a regular season, that's 8.5 sacks or 8 sacks, whatever. I'll take 8 sacks. He didn't cost him a ton of money, but it is what it is. But all right, next. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. The Giants are always... Houston's gone, and they added themselves a safety. And the thing with Houston, to try to make the team, that was a long shot. But when they added Clayton Isbell, it's, I don't even know if Isbell's going to, but they're, they cut one guy, obviously, and then they bring in somebody from the secondary. So Houston 25 was on the Giants practice squad last season. Would have been a long shot to make the team. He appeared during the Giants preseason, but he failed to make a catch at his long target during the game. The Giants waived Houston isn't a real surprising move. As ESPN noted after the Texas game, Houston had been missing time with a hand issue, but he's now apparently back in playing shape. Even still, he's probably on the outside looking in, a spot on the 53-man roster. I really didn't think, there was much of a chance in making the squad. Back on June 30, Sports Illustrated Brandon Olson expressed concerns about Houston in a piece about the Giants' 2024 training camp. His usage of college suggests that he's a versatile player who can be used as a runner-receiver type, but his testing says he's likely going to struggle to create consistent separation, but should be able to make an earning as a contested catch receiver. No else. We got anything here? Oh, there you go. Meet the new Giants safety, Clayton Isbell. Clayton Isbell is a rookie, made the rounds in college football, playing at Illinois State, Utah, most recently Coastal Carolina. He went undrafted and signed with the Panthers after the 2024 draft, but the Panthers waived him on July 26th. The safety played 13 games as a senior at Coastal Carolina. He recorded 89 tackles, 8 pass breakups, and 3 interceptions. NFL Network draft analyst Lance Zierlein calls Isbell a safety with rare wingspan and potential to move to linebacker. Interesting. Long-limbed down safety whose pedestrian time, speed, and above average size could force a position change to linebacker. Oh, all right. Isbell is quick to diagnose and flow downhill to the action and is a willing hitter. But his pursuit angles and tackle strength both need upgrading to eliminate missed tackles. His coverage background and his ball production could give him an advantage when asked to match up against pass-catching tight ends. Isbell might need to earn his way as an undrafted free agent, but he has some elements to work with as a potential practice squad talent. All right, so now, but if we look at, I'll go as, this is what we got here. This is what he did last year in Coastal Carolina. So, there's nothing, he had a good game here, according to PFF. That's all I'm going by. UCLA did pretty well, right? But Jacksonville State, Duquesne, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, Appalachian State, Arkansas State Marshall, Dominion, Texas State, Army, James Madison. I mean, he graded that overall 67.2. Now he's 6'2", 220 pounds. So he's got the height, let's see here. Yeah, this is from Coastal Carolina. 65.6 is coverage grade. Pass rush was a 69.3. His tackle was a 56.1. What did he do? He missed tackle. I mean, look at this. He missed 18 tackles last season for Coastal Carolina. 18.6 missed tackle percentage. I mean, that's horrible. I mean, when the thing is when you're at one of those one of those smaller schools, no, it's nothing. It is what it is. But you need to dominate at that, and these numbers here are not, I mean, not exactly over the moon about some of these numbers. Now, if we look at some of his other, like when he was at Utah, 2022, he graded he didn't play that many snaps. I guess he must have been hurt. He only had 140 snaps. Graded out of 48.3. Illinois State, his first season somehow, right? 347 snaps. He graded out of 78.9, which is his greatest, right? Usually you think from there you're going to get better, but he went from a 78.9 to 63 to a 69 to a 48 to a 67. So, nothing unbelievably horrible, but once again, you're playing Illinois State, Utah, and Coastal Carolina. I mean, if does not mean he guaranteed he can't play. But if you look at some of those grades from PFF, I mean, if you're in that that caliber of school, you really need to dominate. And I'm not really saying it. But once again, I mean, the Giants are just bringing in bodies. They're just trying to, especially in the secondary. They're trying to get some answers. So, but is Bill going to wind up making the final 53? Probably not. But so they cut Houston and they brought in Clayton Isbell. And then finally, the Giants. The thing is that they had Tyree Jackson was going to be the emergency quarterback. So I mean, just think about it, right? If Drew Lock can't go Saturday, right? I mean, Daniel Jones, is he going to play? Right? If they don't have the starting offensive line in there, I mean, Daniel Jones ain't going to go. So if Drew Lock can't go because the oblique, that means Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan is going to have to play most, if not the whole game. Well, what happens if he gets hurt? Right? So they had the emergency quarterback at Tyree Jackson, but he's no mas. There we go. So, but of course, he can't play because, if he's injured, right? Giants have released Tyree Jackson with the back from the IR with an injury settlement, as first reported by Aaron Wilson. Giants originally signed Jackson to the practice squad on August 30th of 2023, one day after he was released by the Eagles. Jackson came into the NFL when he was signed by the Buffalo Bills as an undrafted quarterback out of Buffalo. He transitioned to tight end position for the Eagles and played at that position for the Giants as well. Jackson's experience as a quarterback was briefly valuable for the Giants as well. They designated him as their emergency quarterback after Drew Lock suffered an injury against the Lions in the first preseason game. However, Jackson himself suffered a back injury and has been out of practice since the first preseason game. So, Giants head coach Brian Daboll recently said that the team feels good about Drew Lock's recovery from injury and that there isn't any concern that he won't be ready for week one. So, Wilson also reported that Dennis Houston has reverted to the Giants injured reserve from the waived injured list. Has reverted to the Giants injured reserved from the waived injured list. And that's it. So, but it's interesting is that you know, what are they going to? I mean, I'd have a hard time believing they're not going to keep three quarterbacks. They put Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, and they try to get him, through waivers and onto the practice squad. Somebody's probably going to scoff him up. So that means they're probably going to have to keep three quarterbacks. But as far as Saturday night, if Daniel Jones doesn't play at all, if Drew Lock's trying to come back from the oblique, right? That means if they got Tommy Chicken Cutlets out there, hopefully he doesn't get banged up, right? But I mean, I definitely think without question that they're going to have to wind up signing keeping three quarterbacks on this roster. Hopefully, because you figure when they play Saturday, it's not like the following weekend they're playing the first game of the season, so they still got 2 weeks. So hopefully that oblique will heal up, and the Giants will have their three quarterbacks, but they'll probably have to keep three quarterbacks on the roster. I think it'll be interesting to see after the preseason game's over and when Tuesday rolls around what the final 53 is going to be. Of course, you got the 53, and then you got then they'll have 16, I think, on the practice squad, and they keep the one international player, which I think will wind up being the kicker that the Giants have. Yeah. So Saturday night we got the final preseason. It's unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. I mean, we're talking about the third preseason game, right? Absolutely crazy. Before you know it, the season's going to start. All right, guys. Well, that pretty much wraps it up here for my first time ever on StreamYard. So, Vinny G-Man and two giant goo balls. Thank you, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. So, whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.